Now, hear me out. What if I told you that resting is part of the writing process? That pausing your novel, your blog, your poetry doesn't mean you're failing as a writer. It means you're human. Hi, I'm Susan Lewis, your virtual writing coach, and in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to talk about something most writers wrestle with, but rarely give themselves permission to do: taking a break. Today, we're going to unpack why breaks are not only healthy, but essential, and how choosing rest might actually be the best thing you can do for your creativity and mental health. Welcome to my channel. We've all heard the advice. Real writers write every day. And if you don't, what? You're not serious? You're lazy? You've lost your muse? There's this toxic idea in writing culture, and really in most artistic cultures, that if you're not constantly producing, you're falling behind. Add in social media, where everyone's sharing word counts, book deals, and day in the life of a writer reels, and it's easy to feel like rest equals failure. But here's the truth. Writing is a deeply creative, emotional process, and creativity doesn't thrive under constant pressure. Maya Angelou once said, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." I completely agree, but not if you're exhausted. So, why do breaks matter? From a science perspective, rest allows your brain to process complex ideas in the background. This is called diffuse thinking, and it's why we get so many aha moments in the shower, on walks, or driving in your car. Rest lets your subconscious untangle plot holes, character arcs, and those pesky sentences that just won't cooperate. When you step away, you're not quitting, you're creating space for clarity of mind. When you pause, you allow room for growth, reflection, and deeper insight. Writers aren't machines, we're artists, and every artist needs time to step back and breathe. Sometimes we push through for so long we don't even realize we need a break. Here are a few signs it might be time to step back from your writing and take a bit of a break. 1. You dread your writing time. What once lit you up now feels heavy and like a chore. 2. You find yourself stuck in constant self-doubt, always asking if this is good enough or if you're good enough, and just never being able to believe in the piece of writing that you're working on. 3. You're exhausted, mentally foggy, and unable to focus. 4. You start to think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. This isn't failure talking, that's fatigue, and you deserve to take some time for your self-care. Okay, so you decided to take a break, but how do you do that without spiraling into guilt? Here are some tips for taking a healthy, intentional break. 1. Set a check-in point. Give yourself permission to pause for a day, a week, or even a month, and decide when you'll reevaluate. When I was working through my certification program to become a writing coach, I gave myself a full month of rest from both my program and from my writing because I had been flying around like a mad little worker bee for several months straight. I was tired and I needed that month. Then, at the end of it, I got back to work, stronger and more productive than I would have been otherwise. 2. Journal through your thoughts. You're not abandoning your story if you move on to something that's just about you. You're giving your story and yourself room to breathe. Sometimes it's really helpful to give yourself even just a few minutes before any writing session, just to journal out all your thoughts, especially ones that might keep you a little too grounded in reality. 3. Staying gently connected to creativity while on your break. Read a book, stretch, bake, listen to music, do some form of creative rest that refills your well. Heck, sometimes I take pages from my toddler's coloring book and color a unicorn. It doesn't have to, and probably shouldn't be anything substantial. 4. Create a creative Sabbath. One day a week with no pressure to produce. Just be. Even God needed to take a break after being super creative. Sure, it was like the whole world or whatever, but you get my meaning. If nothing else, remember that rest isn't the enemy of progress. It's actually what allows progress to happen. Now I know what some of you are thinking. If I start, what if I'll never start again? And that's a very real fear. But here's the good news. When you rest with intention, the desire to write does come back. Often stronger, often clearer. Personally, I've taken breaks when I've felt totally burnt out, and each time I returned with more energy, better ideas, and a deeper love for the craft. But if you burn out so badly that you're basically forced to take a break, chances are, yeah, you're not going to return to something that almost broke your brain. You're not a machine. You're a storyteller. And even stories need silence between the words. So if you're watching this and you're tired, if your heart's been heavy and your pages blank, let me say this directly to you. You have permission to rest. You are still a writer, even when you're not writing. Breaks are not signs of weakness. They're acts of strength. In fact, choosing to care for yourself, mind, body, and soul is the most writerly thing you can do. Don't let those images of writers hunched over typewriters smoking a cigarette in the wee hours of the morning make you believe otherwise. I hope this video gives you the courage to pause, to breathe, and to know that your words will still be there when you return. Tell me in the comments, have you ever taken a break from writing? What did it teach you? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with a fellow writer who might need to hear this. Next week, I'll be talking about mental health while in the query trenches. But until then, you've got some writing to do, or perhaps a bit of resting, so I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta.